In the year 2045, Earth was a bustling planet filled with life, technology, and dreams. Cities sparkled with lights, and people went about their daily lives, unaware of the dark shadows gathering in space. For years, humanity had looked to the stars, dreaming of contact with other civilizations. But what they found was not friendship, it was war. The invaders arrived without warning. Huge ships, dark and menacing, blocked out the sun as they descended from the sky. These ships belonged to various alien species united under a ruthless warlord named Vecker. He was a tall figure with green skin and piercing red eyes, known for his cruelty and strength. Vecker had decided that Earth would be his next conquest. He believed humans were weak and unworthy of their planet. As the ships landed, panic spread across the globe. Sirens blared in every city. People rushed to shelters, terrified of what was coming. Governments scrambled to respond, but their defenses were no match for the powerful alien technology. In a small lab in the heart of a major city, Alex was hard at work. He was an engineer, skilled and clever, always trying to find ways to protect his home. Alongside him was Mia, a brilliant scientist with a passion for finding solutions. They had spent years developing defense systems, but nothing they had could prepare them for this. "Alex, we need to get to the control room. They are taking down the satellites," Mia shouted, her voice filled with urgency. Alex nodded, feeling a knot of fear in his stomach. They rushed through the lab, weaving past colleagues who were frantically trying to save their work. As they reached the control room, they saw the chaos on the screens. Alien ships were firing beams of energy, destroying buildings and capturing people. "This is worse than we thought," Mia said, her eyes wide with shock. "We can't just sit here." "We need to fight back," Alex replied. Determination replacing his fear, the two of them quickly gathered a small group of scientists and engineers who refused to give up. They knew they had to find a way to help humanity. They began brainstorming, ideas desperate to create a plan. Meanwhile, outside, the city was in ruins. Vecker's forces moved swiftly, rounding up humans and forcing them into camps. The aliens were ruthless, showing no mercy. They aimed to enslave humanity, using them for labor and resources. As night fell, the sky was lit up by the fires of destruction. Alex and Mia watched from the control room, their hearts heavy. They knew they had to act quickly. "Let's send out a signal to the military. Need to know what's happening," Mia suggested. Alex hesitated. "What if the aliens intercept it? They could use it against us." Mia thought for a moment. "We could encrypt the message. It might give us a chance." With no time to waste, they worked together, typing furiously to create a message that warned of the invasion and called for immediate action. As they hit send, a sense of hope flickered in their hearts. They had done something, but they knew it might not be enough. Hours passed, and the situation only worsened. Reports came in of cities falling one by one. The aliens were organized and brutal. Resistance was almost impossible. Alex and Mia knew they needed to find a way to fight back. They began gathering information about the alien technology that was overwhelming humanity. They worked long into the night, poring over data and schematics, hoping to find a weakness. "Look at this," Mia said, pointing to a diagram on the screen. "This energy beam they use. It requires a lot of power. If we can disrupt their power supply, we might be able to weaken them." Alex nodded, excited by the idea. "We need to find a way to create a diversion. If we can cause a blackout in one of their areas, it might give us time to strike." They spent the next few days planning and gathering a small team of brave volunteers who believed in their cause. Each member brought unique skills that could help in their fight against the aliens. They trained in secret, learning to use makeshift weapons and developing strategies to sabotage the enemy. As they prepared for a daring mission, hope began to rise among the people. News of the resistance spread, inspiring others to join the fight. Small groups formed across the globe, determined to protect their homes and families. But Vecker was not an easy opponent. He had eyes everywhere, and his forces were relentless. The aliens began to hunt down any signs of rebellion, crushing any hope before it could grow. As the resistance planned their first real counterattack, Alex and Mia knew the risks. They could lose everything, but they also knew that they had to. The future of humanity depended on it. On the day of the mission, the air was thick with tension. The group gathered in a safe house, checking their gear and going over the plan one last time. "Remember, we stick to the plan. No heroics," Alex said, looking each member in the eye. "We do this for everyone who can't fight for themselves," Mia added, "and we do it for our future. We can't let them win." With that, they set out into the night, hearts pounding with fear and determination. The streets were eerily quiet, the glow of the alien ships casting shadows on the ground. They moved quickly, avoiding patrols and keeping low. As they reached the alien outpost, Alex's heart raced. This was their chance. They would either succeed or fail, but they were ready to fight for their planet. Little did they know, the battle for Earth was just beginning. The shadows of war loomed large, and the fight for survival would test the limits of their courage and strength. With their mission underway, the fate of humanity hung in the balance. The aliens had chosen to enslave Earth, but the humans were ready to show them the true meaning of resilience. The night was dark as Alex and the resistance team moved closer to the alien outpost. The air was filled with tension, and every noise seemed amplified. They were determined to strike a blow against their invaders, but fear lingered in their hearts. As they approached the outpost, they crouched behind a pile of debris. The alien base was heavily guarded. Bright lights scanned the area, and strange creatures patrolled the perimeter. Vecker's forces were everywhere, and the team knew they had to be careful. "Stay low and move quickly," Alex whispered. He looked at each member of the team, feeling a mix of pride and anxiety. They were all committed to the fight, but he could see the fear in their eyes. Mia, who was crouched next to him, checked her gear one last time. "We need to find the power generator. That's our target. If we can take it out, we can create a distraction." Jack, the former military strategist, nodded. "I've studied their layout. The generator should be on the far side of the base. We can split into two groups. One will create the distraction, while the other sabotages the generator." Alex agreed. "That sounds good. Let's move." The team divided into two groups. Jack led one group toward the front of the outpost to create noise and confusion. Alex, Mia, and a few others slipped away toward the generator. With each step, they felt the weight of their mission. They were fighting for their future, and failure was not an option. As they crept closer to the generator, they could hear the hum of machinery. Alex felt a sense of urgency. They had to act fast. Suddenly, they spotted an alien guard standing near the entrance. He looked bored, but Alex knew they couldn't take any chances. "Mia, can you hack into their system and disable the guard?" he asked in a low voice. Mia nodded, pulling out a small device. She focused on the guard, her fingers flying over the buttons. Within moments, the guard's eyes glazed over as the machine took effect. He stumbled backward, confused and disoriented. Alex felt a rush of relief. "Let's go," he said. And they moved quickly into the generator room. Inside, the room was filled with strange machines and glowing panels. The generator pulsed with energy, and Alex could feel the heat radiating. From it, they had to be quick. Mia quickly analyzed the system. "If I can override their controls, I can shut it down," she said. She began typing rapidly, her face lit up by the glow of the screen, as she worked. The noise from Jack's group grew louder outside. They were successfully creating the distraction. Alex could hear the aliens shouting and the sounds of chaos. It was their moment. "Mia, how long will it take?" Alex asked, glancing nervously at the door. "Just a few more seconds," she replied, her focus unwavering. "I almost have it." Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the base. Red lights flashed, and Alex knew they were running out of time. "Hurry," he urged. With a final keystroke, Mia grinned. "Done. It's shutting down now." The generator sputtered and then went dark. The hum of energy faded, and the lights in the room dimmed. Alex felt a surge of excitement. They had done it. "Let's get out of here," he said, leading the way back toward the exit. As they moved, they could hear the confusion outside. Jack's group had done their job well, and the aliens were scrambling to figure out what had happened. but their escape was cut short when they ran into a group of aliens rushing toward the generator room. The guards were furious, and the sound of their weapons charging filled the air. "Back! Back!" Alex shouted as they scrambled to find cover. Mia pulled out a small device they had taken from the alien equipment. "This might help," she pressed. A button and a burst of bright light filled the room, blinding the aliens. "Now?" Alex yelled, and they dashed past the disoriented guards. They sprinted down the hall, heartbeats pounding, adrenaline rushing through their veins. Finally, they burst through a side exit and into the open air. The night was still chaotic, with explosions lighting up the sky and the sounds of battle echoing around them. They could see Jack's group fighting off a few alien guards who had come to investigate. "Alex, Mia, over here," Jack shouted, waving them toward him. They joined the fight, using the element of surprise to their advantage. The aliens were disorganized, and the resistance team fought with everything they had. Alex felt a rush of energy as they pushed forward, driving the aliens back, but the battle was not without cost. One of their team members fell, hit by an alien blast. Alex's heart sank as he saw a brave soul fall. They had come so far, and the reality of war hit hard. "Keep fighting," Jack shouted, rallying the group. "For our fallen comrade." Fueled by anger and sorrow, they pressed on. Mia fought fiercely beside Alex, her determination shining through. Together, they pushed the aliens back, finally forcing them to retreat. As the dust settled, the team regrouped, breathing heavily. They had achieved their goal, but at a high cost. "We did it," Mia said, her voice shaky but proud. "We took out the generator." Alex looked around at his team, his heart full of both pride and grief. "This is just the beginning. We have to keep fighting. We can't let their victory go unchallenged." Yes. As they made their way back to their safe house, they were filled with a sense of purpose. They had struck a blow against their oppressors, and the spark of resistance was growing. More people joined them every day, inspired by their bravery. The fight for Earth was far from over. They had many battles ahead, but they now had hope. The humans were ready to stand together, and they would not give up. Vecker and his forces might have come to enslave Earth, but they were about to learn that humanity would not go down without a fight. After their successful mission at the alien outpost, the resistance felt a surge of hope. They had fought bravely and won their first battle against the invaders. But they knew this was just the beginning. Vecker's forces were still strong, and they needed to prepare for the challenges ahead. Back at their safe house, the team gathered to plan their next steps. Alex stood at the front of the room, looking at the faces of his comrades. They were tired, but determined. Mia was at his side, her eyes shining with excitement. "We showed them we can fight back," Alex began, his voice steady. "But we need to keep this momentum going. We have to hit them harder and smarter." Jack stepped forward, holding a map of the area. "I've been studying the alien movements. They have a supply depot not far from here. If we can take that out, it will weaken their ability to fight back." The room filled with murmurs of agreement. The idea of another mission energized the group. They knew the risks, but they were ready to face them. "Let's gather more supplies and weapons," Mia suggested. "We need to be prepared for anything." The team split up to gather what they could. Some members focused on finding weapons, while others scouted the area for information on the alien supply depot. Alex and Mia teamed up to gather supplies from local stores that had been abandoned amid the chaos. They moved quickly, knowing that time was not on their side. As they worked, they talked about their hopes for the future. "What do you think will happen if we win?" Alex asked, glancing at Mia. She smiled softly. "I think we can rebuild. We can make Earth a better place. We'll be stronger together." Her words filled Alex with determination. They finished gathering supplies and returned to the safe house, where the rest of the team awaited them. With everything in place, they began planning their next mission. They would launch a surprise attack on the supply depot at dawn. The team practiced their strategy, each member knowing their role. The tension built as the time to act drew closer. The night was long, and sleep was hard to find. Lex lay awake. Thinking about the mission, he felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. He was leading these brave people into battle, and he knew they were risking everything. But they were fighting for their homes, their families, and their future. As dawn approached, the team gathered their weapons and prepared to move out. The sun was just beginning to rise, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. There was a sense of urgency in the air as they made their way to the supply depot. When they arrived, they saw the alien guards patrolling the area. The depot was heavily fortified with guards at every entrance. Alex felt a wave of anxiety wash over him. This was going to be difficult. "Stay low and be quiet," he instructed, leading the group to a hidden spot near the entrance.
I watched the
Guards, waiting for the right moment to strike. Mia looked at Alex, her eyes filled with determination. "We can do this." With a deep breath, Alex nodded. "On my count, 3, 2, 1. Now they sprang into action, moving quickly toward the depot. Jack led a small group to create a distraction on the other side, while Alex and Mia slipped. Inside, the sound of explosions echoed in the distance as Jack and his team drew the guards away. Inside the depot, the noise was overwhelming. Machines whirred and beeped, and the air was thick with tension. They quickly found the storage area, filled with supplies, weapons, food, and energy cells that the aliens needed to operate. "This is it," Mia said, excitement in her voice. "We need to destroy as much as we can." Alex nodded, pulling out a small explosive device they had prepared. "Let's plant these and get out fast." They moved quickly, placing explosives in strategic locations throughout the depot. Sound of alien voices grew louder as the guards began to realize something was wrong. "Time to go," Alex shouted, and they sprinted toward the exit. Just as they reached the door, they heard the first explosion. The ground shook, and dust filled the air. "Run," Mia yelled as they bolted outside. The chaos behind them was deafening. Explosions rocked the depot, sending aliens scrambling in every direction. Jack's team joined them, and they all sprinted away from the burning building. They could hear the aliens shouting, their voices filled with confusion and fear. The humans had struck a significant blow, and it was clear that the tide was turning. As they regrouped a safe distance away, the team cheered. They had done it. They had destroyed a vital supply of the enemy. "We need to keep going," Alex urged. "This is just a start. We can't stop now." The team was filled with energy, and they began to discuss their next steps. News of their success spread quickly, and more people began to rally to their cause. The resistance was growing stronger every day. In the following weeks, the team launched more successful missions against the aliens. They targeted weak points, sabotaging supply lines and disrupting communications. With each victory, the humans gained confidence, and the alien forces began to falter. Mia worked tirelessly to improve their technology. She found ways to adapt alien weapons for human use, giving them an edge in battle. Alex helped coordinate their efforts, ensuring that each mission was well planned and executed. As they worked together, the bond between the team members grew. They shared laughter and stories, creating a sense of family in the midst of war. Each victory brought them closer. They began to believe that they could actually win. One evening, after a successful operation, the team gathered around a small fire. They celebrated their achievements, sharing food and laughter. "We've come so far," Mia said, looking around at her friends. "I never thought we could do this." "Neither did I," Alex admitted. "But we've shown that we are stronger together." Their laughter echoed into the night, a sound of defiance against their oppressors. They were no longer just fighting to survive. They were fighting to reclaim their home. As the fire crackled, Alex felt a sense of hope. They had turned the tide against the aliens, but they knew the battle was far from over. Vecker would not back down easily. The resistance would need to stay strong. With determination burning in their hearts, the team prepared for the next stage of their fight. They would not rest until Earth was free, and together they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. The struggle for humanity had only just begun, but they were ready. The resistance had gained strength, and with each victory, they felt more confident. However, the time had come for a decisive battle. They knew that Vecker would not allow them to continue their attacks without a fight. The alien warlord was growing desperate, and that made him dangerous. Alex gathered the team at their safe house to discuss their next move. The room was filled with maps, plans, and the energy of determination. They had to hit hard and fast before Vecker could regroup his forces. We've taken out their supply lines, but they still have a stronghold, Alex explained, pointing to a large structure on the map. This is where they are keeping their remaining troops and resources. If we can take this out, it could turn the tide of the entire war. Mia nodded, her expression serious. We need a solid plan. If we rush in blindly, we could lose everything we've fought for. Jack, always the strategist, stepped forward. I suggest we create a distraction on one side of the stronghold, while a smaller group takes the main entrance. We need to divide their attention. The team discussed the plan, refining their strategy. They decided to launch their attack at dawn, when the aliens would be least prepared. Everyone felt the weight of the mission ahead. They were nervous, but they also felt a sense of purpose. This was their chance to strike a major blow against their oppressors. As night fell, the team prepared for battle. They gathered weapons, checked their gear, and shared quiet moments of reflection. Alex could see the determination in their eyes, but he also noticed the fear. They all knew what was at stake. Remember why we are doing this, Alex said, trying to inspire his team. We are fighting for our homes, our families, and our future. We can do this together. The team nodded, their resolve strengthening. They moved out into the darkness, ready to face whatever awaited them. At the stronghold, the dawn broke with a golden light. The team positioned themselves around the base, waiting for the signal to attack. Alex felt his heart pounding in his chest. This was it. On my mark, Jack whispered, glancing at each member. 3, 2, 1. Now. With a loud bang, Jack's group launched their distraction. Explosions erupted on the far side of the stronghold, drawing alien guards away from the main entrance. Alex and Mia led their group into the stronghold, adrenaline coursing through their veins. Inside, the atmosphere was tense. The sound of alarms blared and red lights flashed. They moved quickly, using the chaos to their advantage. Alex led the way, keeping an eye out for any guards. Stay focused, he said, his voice steady. We need to find the command center and take out their leadership. As they navigated through the corridors, they encountered a few alien guards. The team fought fiercely, using their weapons and training to overpower the enemies. Each victory fueled their determination. Finally, they reached the command center. The door was heavily reinforced, but Mia quickly got to work on overriding the security system. I need a moment, she said, her fingers flying over the control panel. The sound of footsteps echoed down the hall, and Alex felt a rush of urgency. Faster. Mia, he urged, glancing back at the oncoming guards. The tension in the air was thick. With a final beep, the door slid open. Got it, Mia exclaimed. And they rushed inside. The command center was filled with alien technology and screens displaying maps and data. At the center stood a large console, and Alex knew they had to destroy it. Cover me, he shouted as he moved toward the console. Mia set up explosives around the room while Jack and the others kept watch at the door. The sound of alien voices grew louder, and Alex's heart raced. He quickly planted the explosives and set the timer. We have to get out of here. Now. They turned to leave. A group of alien officers burst into the room, their weapons raised. The team fought back, using everything they had. The room was filled with blasts and shouts, and Alex felt the heat of the battle all around him. Keep pushing, Jack shouted, firing at the aliens. The team fought with everything they had, knowing they could not afford to lose, just as they were about to break through. An alien officer aimed directly at Mia. In a split second, Alex acted without thinking. He pushed Mia out of the way, taking the hit himself. Pain shot through his body as he fell to the ground. Mia, he shouted, trying to get up, but darkness began to close in around him. He could hear the sounds of battle fading as he struggled to stay conscious. Mia, help him, Jack yelled, fighting off the alien officers. Mia rushed to Alex's side, panic in her eyes. Stay with me, Alex. You're going to be okay? The team fought fiercely, managing to take down the remaining guards. Jack and Mia worked together to drag Alex to safety as the timer on the explosives ticked down. "We have to go," Jack shouted, urgency in his voice. They stumbled out of the command center just as the explosives detonated behind them. The force of the blast knocked them forward. Sending debris flying, they landed hard on the ground outside, and Mia immediately checked on Alex. "Stay with me, Alex. You're going to be fine," she said, her voice trembling. Alex felt weak, but managed to smile. "We did it, right?"
"Yes, we did,"
Mia replied, tears in her eyes. The stronghold was crumbling behind them, smoke rising into the sky. They had achieved a great victory, but at a terrible cost. As the team regrouped, they realized the battle was not over. Vecker would retaliate, and they had to be prepared. Jack rallied the group, reminding them of their purpose. "We cannot let this victory go to waste. We keep fighting for Alex and everyone who has suffered at their hands," he said, his eyes fierce with determination. With heavy hearts but renewed strength, they vowed to continue the fight. The resistance had suffered a loss, but they had also struck a critical blow against their enemy. As they made their way back to safety, Alex felt a sense of pride. They had faced great danger and had come out stronger. Together, they would continue to fight, and together, they would reclaim their planet. The battle for Earth was far from over, but they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The dust from the stronghold explosion settled over the battlefield, leaving behind the remnants of what had once been a fortress of alien power. The resistance team had suffered losses, but they had also achieved a great victory. They had struck a significant blow against Vecker and his forces. Now, they needed to regroup and prepare for what was next. Alex lay on a makeshift bed in the safe house, his wounds bandaged, but still painful. Mia stayed by his side, her expression a mix of worry and determination. She had done everything she could to help him heal, but the battle had taken its toll on them all. "Alex, how are you feeling?" Mia asked softly, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. "I'll be fine," he replied, trying to sound strong. "We did it, didn't we? We took out the stronghold." "Yes, we did," she said, her voice filled with pride. "We need to keep moving forward. Vecker will come for us. We have to be ready." As the days passed, the team worked tirelessly to recover and prepare for the next phase of their fight. They knew Vecker would not give up easily. The warlord would retaliate, and they had to be prepared for whatever he threw at them. Jack took charge of planning their defenses. He gathered the team to discuss their strategy. "We need to fortify our position. Vecker will want to crush us after that loss. We need to be ready." The team members nodded in agreement. Everyone was focused, knowing that their lives depended on their preparations. They built barriers around their base and set up lookout points to watch for any approaching threats. Mia continued to improve their technology using alien devices they had captured. She worked day and night, determined to give her team every advantage. Alex, though still healing, helped her whenever he could. "I think I can modify this weapon to fire faster," Mia said one afternoon, her hands busy with wires and circuits. "If we can increase our firepower, we can hold them off longer." "Do it," Alex encouraged. "Every little bit helps. We need to be ready for anything." As they worked, news of their victory spread. More people joined the resistance. Inspired by the bravery of Alex, Mia, and their team, soon, their numbers grew. They became a symbol of hope for those who had lost everything to the aliens. One day, a young man named Ethan joined the group. He was eager to help and wanted to fight for his family and friends. "I may not have much experience, but I'm ready to learn," he said, his eyes filled with determination. Jack welcomed him. "We all started somewhere. Follow our lead and you'll do great." Over the next few weeks, the resistance prepared for Vecker's inevitable counterattack. They trained hard, practicing their strategies and improving their skills. They formed a tight-knit community, supporting one another through the challenges they faced. Finally, the day came when Vecker's forces were spotted approaching. The team gathered to discuss their plan. "This is it," Jack said, his voice steady. "We need to hold our ground. We have to show Vecker that we will not back down." Mia looked around at her friends, feeling a mix of fear and determination. We can do this. We've come so far and we've fought hard. We won't let him take our home. As the alien ships descended, the team took their positions. The air was thick with tension, and everyone could feel the electricity of the moment. Focused, Alex reminded them, "We've trained for this. Trust each other." The first wave of aliens landed, and the battle began. Explosions rocked the ground as the resistance fought back with everything they had. Alex and Mia moved together, firing their weapons and coordinating their attacks. "Keep pushing," Jack shouted, rallying the team. "Can't let them break through." The fight was fierce. The aliens were relentless, but the humans were fueled by their determination to protect their home. The sounds of battle echoed through the air, and the ground shook beneath them. Mia worked tirelessly, using the modified weapons to hold off the advancing aliens. "We need to flank them," she shouted to Alex, pointing to a group of aliens that had broken through their defenses. "Let's go," he replied, leading the charge. Together, they pushed back, fighting side by side. They had fought so hard to get to this moment, and they were not about to give up. As the battle raged on, Alex spotted Vecker's ship hovering above, directing his forces. "We need to take him down," he yelled to Mia. "If we can disrupt his command, the others will fall apart." Mia nodded, her eyes focused. "We can hack into their systems and disable his ship. We just need to get close enough." With renewed energy, they fought their way toward the ship. The battle around them was chaotic, but they pressed on, determined to reach their goal. Finally, they reached the base of the ship. Mia pulled out her device, ready to hack into the alien technology. "Cover me," she shouted as she began her work. Alex stood guard, firing at the aliens that tried to stop them. The tension was high, and he could feel the weight of the moment. He knew that if they succeeded, it could change everything. Almost there. Mia called out, her fingers flying over the device. Just then, an alien soldier charged at Alex, and he quickly turned to face the threat. A fierce battle ensued, but he fought bravely, keeping the enemy at bay. With a final keystroke, Mia grinned. "Got it. The ship is down." The alien vessel began to shake, and alarms blared. The control center inside the ship lost power, and Vecker's forces faltered without their leader. The tide of battle shifted in favor of the humans. "Now's our chance," Jack shouted, rallying the troops. "Push forward." With Vecker's ship disabled, the resistance surged forward, driving the aliens back. They fought with everything they had, fueled by their courage and determination. As the last of the alien forces retreated, cheers erupted among the humans. They had done it. They had defeated Vecker and his army, reclaiming their home from the invaders. Exhausted but triumphant, the team gathered, embracing each other in celebration. They had fought hard and lost much, but they had also gained their freedom. In the days that followed, the resistance worked to rebuild their world, honored those they had lost, and celebrated their victories. The bond between them grew stronger as they worked together to create a brighter future. Alex and Mia stood together, looking out at the horizon. "We did it," Alex said, his voice filled with pride. "Yes, we did," Mia replied, smiling. "But this is just the beginning. We have a lot of work ahead of us." With hope in their hearts, they turned to face the future. Earth was no longer a planet of despair. It was a place of resilience and strength. Together, they would build a new dawn for humanity. The fight for Earth was over, but the journey to rebuild had just begun.